And welcome back to Monetizing Your Mind. I'm Pat Dewar. The host of the show is Bob Baer. Bob's a very successful entrepreneur, publisher, and really trying to give you keys to creating wealth from your creativity. So often we don't realize the value of what's between our ears. So with that, Bob, let's go further into this.
Yeah, one thing I want the listeners and the people that are watching this to understand is that some of the things we're talking about, you can learn these things. One of the other things I wanted to talk about that's really important in monetizing your knowledge, monetizing your intellectual property, is innovation.
Right.
And some people love innovation. I love innovation. I don't like to do things like everybody else. I like to come up with new ideas. There are other people that find that difficult. But it's possible to learn systems. It's possible to learn how to be creative, how to be innovative. And there are books on the subject. Sometimes working with someone and having training with a person is a lot better than a book, because the person and you can go back and forth and stimulate thoughts. In one of the books that I'm writing, rather than just sitting down and writing it, I'm having somebody interview me. And the lady that's doing the interviewing asks me questions that I would never have thought of. She makes me think. She makes it difficult. And it forces my mind to be creative, to come up with answers. So one of the things that I like to help people and teach people is forms of innovation that they can use.
One of the things, though, with even innovation, and some of the things that we've talked about thus far, is that if somebody feels like, oh, I ain't that creative, I can't do that, and you go, well, wait a minute, you know what? A lot of times it's just placing yourself in a position where you're around other creative people. You know, you and I both have been a part of, whether it be mastermind groups or even coaching sessions, where somebody will, like you say, ask you their questions, or they'll ask questions about a way to break through what's in the way, that are so creative and so out of the box. It's like it jolts you into a position of, I get it, and you have a breakthrough. Would you agree?
Yes, absolutely. But to be that way, to be innovative, to be creative, it really helps to set aside some time. And so many times with all of us, we get so tied up with the things we're doing, we get so involved with the day-to-day running the business that we don't have time to think. It's actually a good thought to schedule some thinking time on your calendar. Take a couple hours off, set an appointment, and say, I'm going to be gone here. Go to Starbucks and sit down, not with somebody else, and just think. And those are when innovative and creative moments come, when you actually get away from the office and allow yourself some time to be creative. I
think it was George Bernard Shaw said that the most valuable thing that somebody can do is to think. The thing that he gets paid the most for is to think. Thinking. And so few people actually take the time to think. So, and I think it was Henry Ford said something very similar. The highest paid thing that he does is to think.
Another very important skill, Patrick, in monetizing your mind is communication ability. And that is something that you can be trained in too.
Right.
You can receive training in how to relate to different types of people, how to communicate better, how to do presentations better. I like to teach authors that every author should be willing to become a speaker.
That's correct.
Because today is a very relational society. People want to get to know authors. They want to have a personal connection, whether it's a book signing or whether you're going to an association meeting and standing up and talking to people. People want to get to know you. And that should be a great compliment. If you can have someone come to you and want more of you, that is so much better than you having to approach people and try to sell them something. It's important to have people want to get to know you.
Well, even beyond that, for a lot of authors, one of the reasons why they write the book, or hopefully they at least acknowledge this, is that they then can charge more fees because they're the obvious expert. It's
right.
You know, why we do TV is that it helps to show the authority that you have, that you've established, as you know what you're doing and you can help others.
One of the things I love to do is find something that someone is passionate about. I hate it when people are trying to monetize themselves by doing research and finding out where demand is, whether they're into that or not. And so if I can find out what really gets somebody excited, what they really want to talk about, what they really want to communicate about, and take that particular subject and get them going on that, that's what's in their head. That's their intellectual property. That's what we can really monetize.
Well, even beyond that, I call it 9-pound pearls. You know, you've paid more than anybody ever should have to purchase that wisdom. Now, we say we wish we could have paid for it by reading a book or hearing a tape or CD or something, but for a lot of us, we had to walk through the experience. But when we do, now we've got the authority, I hate to use the word anointing, but it's kind of like that. It's that breakthrough concept that when you speak in that area, it changes lives. And you become that spiritual, I call it bolt cutter for others. When we talk about monetizing your mind, we're talking about giving you tips and tools and techniques to create more revenue in your life. We'll be right back on Monetizing Your Mind. This is Pat Doerr.
You can become a published author. Discover a system that will lead you from idea to having your book on the bookshelves. Bob Baer pulls back the curtain at the More Power to Publish workshop. Watch and learn how to follow the step-by-step plan to turn your idea into a published book. Learn more at morepowertopublish.com.